Welcome back to Spring into Math 7. I'm Mrs. Campbell, and today we're going to be talking about mean, median, mode, and range. Let's jump in. So let's start by talking about data. What is data after all? Well, data is basically the numerical information collected in a set. Okay, and when we look at data in math and science, we look at information that's been gathered over time or that's been gathered to evaluate a topic. So we can analyze numerical data in several different ways. What we can do is we can look for the mean, the median, the mode, and the range in a set of data. So let's start with the mean. The mean is the average of the data. Okay, the set of the data. Okay, so that is the sum of the data values divided by the number of data values. And you'll see this in words may make sense to some of you. Some of you might need to actually see the numbers and see it worked out. But let me repeat that again. To find the mean is basically the sum of the data values divided by the number of data values. All right, now you often hear about averages, right? With your grades, your speeds, like for instance, what's your average grade in math? Okay, so we use averages all the time. So mean is just a fancy word for average. Let's take a look at how we would solve a problem with mean. So the example is find the mean for the set of data, 47, 45, 51, 45, and 41. Okay, really simple, just remember these two steps. Number one, add the numbers all together. Okay, 47 plus 51, 56 plus 51 plus 45 plus 41 equals 240. Okay, then the second step is that we're going to divide our total, or the sum, by the number of data values. 5. I have 5 numbers in that set of data. See, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. So I just divide 240 divided by 5 and I get 48. That's my average or my mean. Median. Okay, if you're driving down the freeway, you may see something in the middle of the road that's called a median. That's a great way to remember what a median is when we're talking about data. Okay, the median in a set of data is the middle value of the set of numbers. Just like I said, think of a road. The median is always in the middle, right? So the median is the middle number when the values are arranged in order from the least to the greatest. You always want to do that first. Make sure you put them in order from least to greatest. Let's take a look at an example of median. It says find the median for the set of data. It's the same one we did last time for mean. Okay, we have 47, 56, 51, 45, and 41. So step one is to arrange the data values from least to greatest, which gives us 41, 45, 47, 51, and 56. We just go to the one that's in the middle, 47. It's right smack dab in the middle. So that one was pretty easy. Okay, there's another thing that might happen when you're looking for median that I want to talk about quickly, and I'm going to explain it through an example, all right? So look at this question real quickly. Katie's first 4 test scores are 78%, 81, 80, and 84%. Determine the median of her test scores. Okay, so first we're going to do what I said earlier. We're going to just arrange them in order from least to greatest. 75, 80, 81, 84. Well, guess what, guys? We've got an even number. We can't visually identify what the median is just by looking at it. So here's how we get around that. In this case, there are 2 data values in the middle, right? 80 and 81. So we're going to find the median or the average, like we did in the last section, of those 2 numbers, and that will be our median. So in this example, 81 and 80 are the 2 numbers in the middle. We add them together. We get 80 plus 81 equals 61. And then we divide it by the number of numbers, which is 2. We've got 80 and 81, 2 numbers. So that gives us 161 divided by 2 equals 80.5. And that's the median. All right, the mode, I always teach my students the mode is the most often number seen, the one you see the most. It sounds like most. And that's an easy way to remember what the mode is, okay? Here's a chart, and this depicts the daily temperature in San Diego for the first 7 days in August. Really quickly, you could probably solve this just by looking at it. The problem asks us to find the mode for this set of data, okay? So like I wrote in blue here, to determine the mode, just look for the number that occurs most often. In this case, it's going to be 87 because 87 appears twice in this set of data. and none of the other numbers too. So easy as that. Our mode is 87. Here's an example. When Katie's first 4 test scores are 75%, 81%, 80%, and 84%, what is the mode of Katie's test scores? Aha, this is a trick question. There is no mode. There's nothing that's more than once. There's no data. There's no number that occurs more than once. So it's okay to say there is no mode. And that may happen sometimes. Let's also talk about range. Okay, the range is this, in a set of data, is the difference between the greatest and the least values. Okay, so to find the range of a data set, it's so easy. You just subtract the smallest data value, or smallest number, from the largest data value, from the largest. So once you arrange them in order from least to greatest, take the least and the greatest and subtract the two, and that will give you the range. Okay, here's an example. Determine the range for the set of data, 47, 56, 51, 45, 41. You want to subtract the smallest data value, in this case it's 41, from the largest data value, in this case it's 56. So 56 minus 41 is 15. So the range of this data set is 15. Pretty simple. Okay, really quickly, sometimes you're going to need to determine whether to use mean, median, mode, or range in math problems, or maybe even in a real life situation, okay? So for instance, if you're surveying a group of middle school students about their favorite soda, the mode would be the most appropriate measure to use, right? Because it's the most often, the one you see most often. But if you're looking for the middle value in something like sales for a store, then the median would be the best way to analyze the data. So just be sure that you are choosing the right one. All right, so let's look at an example of how we would do that. The question asks us, should mean, median, mode, or range be used to analyze the following set of data? Okay, this chart shows us the number of minutes it took 5 math students to complete a math test. Here's the number of kids, 1 through 5, and it took them, this one, 29 minutes, 32 minutes, 40 minutes, 33 minutes, and 38 minutes. So think, if you need to pause your video, go ahead. What should we use to analyze this data? Mean, median, mode, or range? All right. So since there's not a number that occurs most often in that data set, in that table, the mode is not the best way to analyze the data, right? So not mode. All right. Now, calculating the range, is that going to help us? Probably not, because that's just allowing us to see the difference between the students who finished first and last. That's not particularly helpful. The mean, though, remember the mean is the average. That would probably be the best way to analyze this data, because it gives the average amount of time it took for the 5 students to complete the exam. Okay. So in this case, the mean, they give it to us, is 34.4 minutes. And it could also be helpful to look at the median of this data, which is 33. So in this case, the mean and the median are close in value. Remember to think about what the data describes and what your objective is in analyzing the data. That's a really key skill. And that's going to help you choose the best method for analyzing your data. All right, everyone, that just about does it for this lesson. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.